Hello again, everyone. So here we are. We have the ribbon bounce in front of us on a chart, 1 minute. Okay. And this is the next step to setting up the chart some more. I'm going to go ahead and open up indicators. And we're going to add, for me, if you have this indicator or not, but this is mainly for setting up my particular chart and helping other people who may have the same things as well. We're going to add the TDU Buy and Sell Momentum indicator. Added it to our list. Okay. And these are basically, now I have preset already, so you don't get to see my number here that allows me to use it with the company that I get it. If you don't know, a lot of my indicators, where I got them from, they haven't updated them to work with the newer versions of NinjaTrader. So I don't really use those. I'm just going to chop them up as I don't mess with them. I do have an older version of NinjaTrader on a different computer that will use them. But because of that, one of the indicators, which is the TDU Buy and Sell, it has always continued. The company I get it from, they're always updating their stuff and all that. So the majority of my indicators are going to come from TradeDevils.com. They have a good selection of indicators that pretty much work well. And they have a good following, along with a Discord where everybody can communicate and talk and do different strategies, different settings for things and stuff like that. We're going to go ahead and go over the settings. Now I have, remember, you can do all your settings that you want, and then you can save those settings. So I like it to pop like it shows in the video. That kind of teaches you how to use this indicator that we're going to be adding. There we go. It's been added. So now all those settings are done. And what I'm going to do, make sure everything's opened up here. And make sure if I'm missing a setting or something. But we're going to go ahead and go over the settings here. Well, I'm not going to go over and discuss every setting. There's the training video for that from the company if you ever decide to get this indicator. And you can pick it up over at Trade Devils or Trade Devils team at TradeDevils.com. I don't do referral links and stuff, but these are going to be the settings right here. If you have the, you're going to put your number there so it'll work. Okay, and I'll slowly go through this so you can stop the video, look at everything, and then move along as you get things set up if you're looking for the exact same settings as mine. Alright, like I changed all these to white. You'll see why here in a moment. Excessive buying, like what just on, so what you see is when there's a lot of buying in one candle, it will outline that candle, or if there's a lot of selling. Now these are not like go heads, like, hey, if there's a lot of excessive buying on this candle, we should buy for the next candle. That's not exact a buy and sell signal system, but it can help you determine if that is something you wanted to take that trade or skip it, depending on where it is in the market. You got the POC color, which is yellow. Definitely always want to pay attention to that line. And you can make it bigger and stuff by just clicking on it, make it solid, or change the to a different thing. These are the settings here for this section for Delta. Now, I actually have I don't use it on this one. I have a different Delta indicator that's designed just for delta divergence. Again, here's the settings for this section. Now, bullish exhaustion, I recommend you definitely change the settings on this. Default, I think it's at 1. I have mine set for 5. And when I do a training video for Renee, I'll go over why I do this, because these can be pretty handy. Again, that's the settings for it. Same for this one. I don't really need to change the color on them, because I can look at which way the candles are going to determine if it's a buy or if it's basically a exhaustion point at the top or an exhaustion point at the bottom. Here's the settings for this. Imbalances. So if you know more about this kind of stuff and you have your own decisions of how you like things set up, you could always go in and change the settings, do what you want for yourself to fit your strategy. And you have all of these ones that you can go and change. Everything here for me is basically default. But to give you an idea, like you got oversized buy imbalance outlines. So you can really add a lot more to it. Here's the settings for down here. Unfinished business, I leave default. Now I did go in. You can change the colors if you want, but I made them, if I remember correctly, they were a little bit darker, and I made them just a little bit more brighter, so it was easier for me to see. Now, I actually, it's not turned on here, but we're going to turn it on. I do show the Pikachu. All right, and then I leave everything else there alone. And remember, you can, if you like other things, you can turn on alerts so it makes sounds and stuff like that as well. So you know to look at a chart if you're doing other things. Again, I'm just basically kind of going over this so you can stop the video, look at the settings, fix it to yours. And then once it's all done, you can go here to template, and you could save, create it. I just did color popping. There, save, because I made that one change. So now every time you load this indicator, you can come to the template and automatically add those settings to it instead of using default. We're going to go ahead and click apply now. Click OK. We're going to let this calculate, put everything together. And this indicator works with Hakanashi candles as well. So if you're a Hakanashi person, this can help you out. Basically, what the indicator does is take information from what you would see on a footprint chart and kind of place it onto the candles with pictures or lines and stuff like that, instead of having to read all the numbers and all that kind of stuff. But you can add certain things onto it that give you more information that that footprint charts provide. But this is how I set my chart. So we're going to let this load. this is what I use for if I'm going to take short trades. Like I get in and I'm looking to get out real quick. I'm not looking to do any long runs or anything like that. But I'm in control of when I get in and out. Okay. So these are not support lines. I know that's probably what you were thinking at first. All right. But they're not. What they are unfinished business. Okay. This is where the market went up, but it didn't complete all the contracts that were here. And it kept on going. So we have unfinished business here of contracts waiting to be bought or sold. And then it reached up, went up here unfinished. When it started its new candle, it finally did come up here and cleared out those contracts. So now that business is finished. And then it came down here, cleared out these contracts. So those are finished. And then it still came down. And now we have unfinished business here. So in some ways, you can look at these as support and resistance lines, but that's not truly what they are. They're just spots where we know the market tends to come back and try to finish up business. As you can see, it came back down, or it came down. We had unfinished business here as it came down more, hidden in these ribbons, and it got some rejection. Candles were getting small. And then it came up and finished that business. And then it shot down. All right, now we're going to get into a little bit more here. So, now when there's a white outline on a candle, there's a lot of buying and selling going on in this candle. All right. And so basically in this one, there's a lot of selling going on in this candle. Okay. Now that doesn't mean the next candle is going to go down. Just it's letting us know that there's a lot of buying going on. Okay. And then same with this one. Let's go find the yellow. So we have this right here, the green. There was a lot of buying going on in this candle. Same with this one. Like I said, like this one here, we had a lot of selling because it's outlined in white. But the next candle went up. And then you got, so if you look here, we'll spread it out. Okay, so it shut down. And then these little lines right here that you see going on, this is where the majority of the buying and selling happened for this candle. So as you can see, it came down, it hit one of the red ribbon. This is where the buying and selling, the majority of it was, and it went up. So we can probably suspect that this next and we still have unfinished business right here. So we have 1 confirmation, 2 confirmation, 3 confirmation, that the odds are this will come up at least a little bit to try and get this unfinished business. All right. So, and it came up. It got that business right there. So if you were doing pocket options, you could do a 1 minute or possibly a 5-minute trade, but just going for a 1 minute, you got your win. Because this is a different type of institutional trading, we would have got in right in here, and we could ride that up. And then if we feel it's not going to go, we could close our trade out here, or we could have closed our trade out up here, or we could say, you know what, I think it's still going to go up more, depending on if you have other information or anything like that. Yeah. So you could sit here and try and ride that all the way up. The goal usually is to get the meat of the trend, not get the very bottom or the very top. Usually you want to get in somewhere right in here and probably get out right in here. But if you're using, depending on the type of trading you're doing, you could have just got in here, rid this up, and closed out and had some profit. You're not really worried as much anymore about a whole minute closing or not. You kind of get in and out when you want. All right. Now these arrows, they're basically giving you the strength from the past 14 candles, okay, of how much is volatility is going on. So we got one, there's a lot of volatility. Two, there's a whole lot of volatility. And then there's also where they do three. Let's see if we can find one. Here, we had a very large amount of volatility between buyers and sellers, like the speed of, and the speed between the buyers and sellers basically is what's going on there. It is extremely increased. And then, so as you can see, like that's a lot and it went up. But again, we have the ribbon bounce. We also, so what basically probably happened here looking at the chart is it came down, it bounced a little, hit the ribbon bounce on the green, which is the low resistance. It finally broke through, but it left unfinished business. And then it came down. Looks like it had unfinished business, cleared it up, came down, had unfinished business, but it took care of that because it dropped down here, was getting orders, but then it came back up. So this candle was basically its way of coming and say, we're going to clear that. And then it came back up. We have the small little unfinished. So we have new unfinished business here. Candles could come back down. And so what probably happened here is there wasn't a lot of power or initially to get this, to clear these contracts out and take the money. So what they did is they pushed it up really, really hard to get that and to claim. So when you see something like that, you'd be, okay, there's unfinished business right here. There's a lot of momentum. You can maybe expect the next candle to go down because it's clearly trying to switch over into a downtrend, it looks like, from just looking to here, because it's now below all three ribbons. And then we also had Pikachu right here. Pikachu is when there's a lot of shit going on, excuse my French, in a particular area that's important. And as you can see, it came down to the lines, and that's when you'll usually see this. It's hitting on a line, and there's a lot of resistance or buying and selling going on, and it's kind of letting you know, hey, we're going to probably make a transition here. So what it did, it's been coming down, and it's finally being able to make it through the, we'll just say, the wall. But that does not mean it's always going to go through the wall. Sometimes it's just, they tried, and now it's going the opposite, and now it's going back up. But that's to let us know that this is a key area we should be paying attention to. Is the candle going to break through, and should we follow through? Or is it going to break off, and we follow it back up? But just having this little bit of information versus just looking at candles makes it much easier for us to determine if we should take if you're in binary options, a 1 minute trade or 5 minute trade, depending on how you want to do it. But having that extra information will really help you out. And it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the market at the same time. So, and I'll go into more detail. I basically kind of explained everything on this one. But I'll probably do another video just on this one and go through it. Back up a little here. Make things a little smaller. There we go. And I'll probably just go through it with time and stuff as a bigger thing. My main goal was to just kind of give you a base idea of what each thing here. Like here we went up after it finally broke through. We have unfinished business here, unfinished business there. It tried to come back down a little, and it wound up creating so this is unfinished business for buyers. So people are here trying to buy. Same for this. And this one here was unfinished business for people trying to sell. So we know when there's something like this, we have two for up and down. This market is going to try and come back down and claim that. And it looks like here there was unfinished business. So the market came up to clear that out. And because that's such a high marker, once it got its clear, it came down. So you could kind of expect to take a 1 minute trade down or institutional trading and get as far as you can before you get scared and close out. But once we've seen it come all the way up into here, we have these here. I would, on an institutional trade, I would get in here. If not, I'd wait till the second candle and get in, and then ride it down to where it finally clears these sections out right here, and then close the trade out. And then, like here, it came down. Now we have unfinished business here. It's shooting up because it wanted to collect this unfinished business, and because it probably just shot up real quick, it wound up creating unfinished business here in the buyers, unfinished here, and unfinished here. So and looks like it went up here to collect this unfinished business, and then grabbed it. So we can expect it's going to come down, and that's what it did. It cleared. It decided it was going to come back to the market and clear this out, and in doing so, it created these ones and this one, and cleared those out. Then it created some more and went for that top one. And then it came down to clear out these. So now we have unfinished business here, unfinished business here for buyers. And it came down, started getting rejected. We have all three ribbons here. All right. And probably some unfinished business there as well. It looks like it's a little hard to tell where the most of the buying and selling was. We have one here, one there. So, and we have unfinished business here because it tried to push up. Most of the buying here, and it went up, or no, I'm sorry, it went down, but most of the buying and selling was right here. And then it came down, and now we're starting to make dojis. And then we have the high volume of sales and buyers and sellers and speeding increase. And as you can see, they pushed it all the way up to clear these two along with that. So that gives you an idea of what they're doing. So if you were wanting to, you seen this down here and it created unfinished business, you could get your trade in somewhere here and ride that up to where they start clearing that business, then close your trade out or do a 1 minute trade. All right, so as you can see, this can really be helpful in regards to what the candles are doing and if you should take a trade. That'll be the end of this video. The main goal was just to kind of give you a base idea of it and show you the settings I have for it set up. You know what? Let me do one last thing. We'll change the candles on this. We got put it over the Hakanashi so you can get an idea of what it looks like that way. Now we gotta let it calculate, and then I'll go ahead and stop the video after I do a quick scroll. Maybe it'll go a little faster if I go to the one. Oh, no, still waiting for the rest to load. There we go. And this is what it looks like with Hakanashi. Okay. So if Hakanashi helps you, this could be a way for you to kind of get your trades in, figure things out. And to give you an idea about this unfinished business, there's always a lot of unfinished business.
Come back.